25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. A couple of weeks ago, it seems like, or maybe a little bit more than that, but not that long ago, there was a story in the news about these two guys who were twins, and they did not even know each other existed. They didn't know they were twins, and they were separated at birth for some reason. I can't remember what it was. One of them moved to America, and one of them, I think, stayed in, was it Croatia?
I think so.
I can't remember where it was. But it was fascinating to hear about how their lives, even though they were separated, even though they didn't know about each other, how they had similarities. I mean, real similarities in their lives, like weird, like the wives with the same name and occupations that were the same. It's just an interesting thing, isn't it? There's so much about life we don't understand. One thing that you probably know as listeners is that usually when we have somebody who's written a novel, we will have a short interview with them because we want the storyline to be told, but there's not a whole... You don't want to spend 25 minutes with somebody who just has a story. Our next guest has more than just a story. She's a very talented writer. Her new book is called Treasure, and it is. She's going to tell us about it. It's about twins. And you'll find out about it in a second. She's also, however, Vanessa Leigh Hoffman is who I'm referring to. She's also a musician, a language teacher. She's been a survivor of cancer now for 30-something years, from the way I understand it. She's a food and wine consultant. She is living her life to the fullest, and a percentage of the proceeds from this book called Treasure is going to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. So with all that, now you know why a 10-minute interview has been extended to a 25-minute interview. Vanessa Leigh Hoffman, good morning, Vanessa.
Hi, good morning, Larry. How are you today?
Pretty good. Where are you?
I'm in St. Petersburg, just
you
down
live
the road from you.
Oh, you're down the road. Ah, well, you should have
down the road.
You should have come in to the studio. We would have loved to have you.
I know. I would have loved to. But anyway, I'm here on the phone talking, so
thank you
at least we can do that.
So how many languages do you speak?
I speak Spanish fluently because I was a teacher in that for 15, 20 years, and then French and German I taught for a bit. Pretty fluent in French, and German was my minor, and I used to be really good at it and be reading novels every day to graduate, with my degree.
Wow.
But now I just I've gotten so much.
Wow. I just was curious. I know it's not an important part of this interview, but I was just curious about it. The book Treasure, there's a gold seal on the copy that was sent to me, and it says Hollywood Book Festival winner 2015. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
So it
was a wonderful time. Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about you, but before we talk about you, let's talk about this book, because maybe you're in the book. Maybe there's something in the book. Francis Cranford. Who is Francis Cranford?
Francis Cranford his real name was Frank, and I'll tell you a shortened version of the whole story. I was teaching Spanish at a school, private school down here, and I had to get away and just be by myself for a little bit, just to think, just to regroup. And I said, am I going to the Gulf side? You know how close things are here in St. Pete, or downtown by the pier, or I could even go down to where the bridge is. And I said, no, I feel like I have to go to the pier for some reason. So I went there, and I sat by the fishermen, and I happened to sit by this one elderly gentleman who had cast the line out and started talking to me, and it was just amazing what came out of his mouth, just the whole stories and just intrigue. So I kept going there, like maybe twice a week for a month and a half, and then he ended up telling me that he was dying from cancer. So he said he really wants it. He's going to hospice. So I went and visited him in the hospital, and then he asked me if he could stay at my house in a wheelchair.
Oh my goodness!
Until he died. I know.
So you became very close to him.
I became close to him. We weren't super close, but I knew all about his brothers and his family and all about his tales. And so I was just so fascinated by him. And he was in the Korean War, and he was he's an intellect. And so I said, sure. And so I talked with hospice. They told me everything. He'd be in his wheelchair with the oxygen bags and everything. So I took care of him, and the hospice would come and see us a couple times a week. And this only lasted for 2 weeks until he died in my house.
Wow. When was this? When?
This was in 2005.
Okay.
This was pretty soon after I came here. And because I'm not from here originally. Of course, most people aren't. But so
why did he choose you instead of his family?
Well, that's a good question. I'm just getting on to that right now. His family was always in Boston, and they might have had some dealings with the Boston Mafia, as he said. I don't know if that was true or not, and this is why. Because whenever I called his brother, who he talked about all the time, and I had his phone number, I knew where he lived in the Boston area, he said, his brother, everything he's told you has been a complete lie.
Is his brother Kenneth?
So, and that, no, actually, the twins, I'm glad you brought that up. The twins are one person. They're a split personality.
Okay.
That Frank had.
Okay.
He was intellectual and just wonderful, decent human being on one side, but the other side he was a complete liar. So, and his brother said he's just always had that instinct that he's wanted to lie. And but his lying was just so creative, it was unbelievable. So I had to turn it into a novel.
Oh, okay.
And but one thing he did not tell me was his brother told me that he was a master chef for the Kennedy family, and I would have liked to talk to him about that, but he never told me about that.
Okay, so Kenneth is a fictional character.
Right, and so is Francis is too. Really, they stem from the same man, Frank. I expounded on everything he told me, but and so it's not a nonfiction; it's a fictional.
I gotcha.
Account.
Okay. I was a little bit confused about that. So in telling his story, so the real Frank had cancer.
Yes, he did. Lung cancer.
Okay.
Yes.
But you yourself survived cancer, right? Where did you move from?
I moved from Memphis. That's where St. Jude was located, so I didn't have to go far to get treatments.
Oh, okay. So that's why you're donating a portion of the proceeds to them, because they helped you.
Yeah, they helped me a lot. I'm still alive today. It's like 38 years later.
Wow. Well, good for you. But this is not your first book, correct?
Well, it is in a way, because the first book that I in the trilogy is called Rearview Mirror, and I had that out in 2008 with a small publishing company. And after that, I was at a book signing in Pensacola, and I said, this story is not complete. There's more that I have in my mind that I want to add to this. So I went back to the hotel with my dog. We stayed there for a whole week, and I wrote the second part of the trilogy there then in about 5 days, because I had so much fodder in my subconscious.
Okay.
Came flowing.
So the 3 books you wrote before this one actually contributed to this book.
No. This is I'm sorry. This is getting confusing, I guess, because I had one book out at first, the Rearview Mirror. There are three parts to the trilogy. Rearview Mirror is the first one. The second one is the Silk Road to Atlantis. It traces the Silk Route and all the mayhem that occurs on the Silk Road. And then the third one, which I wrote in Standard Time, 6 months, is called Subterfuge. And they all put together under one title of Treasure. I wrote the first book in 2008. And then after that, I wrote the second book in Pensacola in 5 days. And then the third book I wrote like a year and a half later, a 6-month period of time, the usual period of time. That was actually in a house that I was renting on the waterfront near the Don Cesar Hotel. And I said, I'm so excited for this. This is going to be great to write the third part of the trilogy, Facing the Water.
Right.
And you know what? I never, ever sat outside and facing the water. I sat in front of a yellow wall. I wrote everything, because the characters are so fascinating to me.
Let's take a little break, and we'll be right back. Vanessa Leigh Hoffman is our guest down in St. Petersburg, right? Is that where you are?
Yes.
Right.
St. Petersburg. Okay.
That's where I am.
So we'll take a little break, and we'll be right back after the weather and a couple of commercial announcements. This is WOCA.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Times of clouds and sunshine and breezy today. There can be a shower, even a thunder shower in spots along the coast. The high today 75 to 79. And partly cloudy tonight, lows ranging from 59 in the coolest inland spots to 71 along the coast. Tomorrow, clouds and some sun and quite breezy. There may be a shower along the coast, the high 80 to 84. But Wednesday, partly sunny and breezy again. A shower at the coast, the high 80 to 84. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood, and when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then, I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind, with a custom treatment plan that really works. I feel great. They can create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
We're saving thousands with Robert Palmer.
So rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around. If you're trying to get a mortgage, if you're trying to get the best credit card, if you're looking at student loans, cell phone bills, you name it, rule number one is always shop around. Always shop around.
That's rule number one, just one more vital part of fighting back to stop being a financial zombie. Yes, you can take the mystery out of the complicated world of finances. Take charge when it comes to your money. Listen in on The Source, 96.3 FM and 1370 AM, Saturdays at 12:05.
Attention homeowners, if your sinkhole case was denied during the past 5 years or repaired, but there was little or no money left to finish fixing your property, you may qualify to receive up to $15,000 through a sinkhole repair management program in your area. This government program is offered to owners who feel that their sinkhole claim was unfairly denied or repaired, but there was little or no money left to finish fixing their property right. For a free inspection and consultation, call Sinkhole Savvy today at 813-403-7809. 813-403-7809. That's 813-403-7809. Sinkhole Savvy.
What are the most common questions those nearing retirement are asking? Will I outlive my money? Retirement questions like these and many more will be answered every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with hosts Francois and Julian Pozenet. Francois and Julian will help you put your retirement puzzle together. Catch Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement Saturdays at 9 a.m. on Ocala's News Talk, The Source 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
All right, 12 minutes before 11 o'clock. So this is why I wanted this interview to be long. I knew there was a lot of intricacies in this one. Vanessa Leigh Hoffman is on the phone. Her book is called Treasure. It is a trilogy. It's three in the same book, if I have that right. And I just was flipping through the books. So I kind of got a better understanding of this. And Vanessa is down in St. Petersburg. This must have presented some challenges to you, Vanessa. Am I right?
Yes, the whole novel did. Well, yes, of course it did. And the first one, was inspired by Francis at the pier, and the second one though came pretty easily. Like I was saying, it must have been just stored. What I wanted to continue the trilogy with must have been stored in my subconscious, because I wrote it in just about 5 days.
Wow.
And I was amazed by that. And I don't know, it just flowed out. And then I started reading it. I said, wow, that does make sense, because I always have to read everything the next day to make sure it's okay.
Sure.
But
sure.
And then the third one, like I said, was more like a normal writing. It took about 6 months because I was working in the wine industry then. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to be writing.
So do you explore Atlantis at all, or because I was confused by some pieces of this?
The Silk Road to Atlantis?
Yeah.
That is okay. Let me just start out from the beginning, okay? It spans the globe, the whole trilogy. It's all tied in together. It's a political, psychological thriller. And it begins involving twins who are separated at birth and don't even know each other exists, like you were talking about earlier
right.
in the program. One becomes super wealthy, pretty soon, as soon as he's born. And then the other one remains poor through circumstances which are beyond his control. And however, they both eventually become involved with underworld entities such as organized crime, radical religious groups, terrorist organizations. These entities sometimes work together for greed and power, but they always work apart in betrayal and revenge. So everyone involved in this three-part, I call it a noir novel, like a dark, deep noir, classic noir film. They all want treasure, and everybody has a different opinion of what their treasure is that they want. Few, however, survive to claim it in this book, and they're interwoven stories of suspense and political intrigue, and each one of these stories raise important questions about the ways in which we live our lives. Without all of these characters have to be in each of the parts, otherwise it would not have the ending that it has. So they're all crucial to the body of the trilogy, and all tied in together.
It seems like they're all tied in through the instinct of survival, though.
Exactly. Instincts for survival, then it also asks important life questions about, are our decisions based on what our parents teach us? Could that be? Or is, like you said, is it just for the instinct for survival? Also, if we do bad in our lives, make bad decisions, how do we ignore the damage that we do to others, or do we?
Yeah, really. Well, and so you're exploring those deep philosophical questions through the lives of the characters in the book.
You've got it. You've got it. And I just use ordinary people, innocents, just victims, self-absorbed, privileged people, criminals in league with jihadists. I have the Irish Mafia is present. The IRA is even in there, up in Belfast. And all of these people are making, of course, questionable, life-altering choices.
Wow.
And so we just investigated.
No wonder you won an award. No wonder you won an award for this one. So as you're exploring these things, do you work it out for yourself as the author? I mean, when you're trying to explore some of these deep, lifelong questions, does it give you any revelation at all as the words are leaving your hands or your mind onto the page?
It does, and I mean, I took psychology courses in high school and college, and maybe that has something to do with it too. And I was a teacher, you know, having to delve into students' minds on the best way to teach them. Maybe that plays a part in this too. But I always just, and then I was in acting as well. I'll put that in, and then you have to explore each person's persona and psyche in order to play that part. And I've just always looked at people and just wondered, oh, I bet you that's a really nice person. I bet you she had a lot of obstacles she overcame. I don't know, I just have that sense. And I've always been that way since I've been a little child. And even with dolls and things, with families, they'd all have their own personalities. And so now I just get a chance to put it in a book, and I'm enjoying it.
But you also had to be able to reflect on your real life. I mean, you had shared that you were in a car accident and the doctors said that you would never walk or talk or read again.
Right, or write.
Or write.
I would not be able to write, or I wouldn't be able to use my hands, my voice, maybe not even my brain. But it all worked out. Wow. I mean, I had to go to occupational therapy, and then, you know, because I was putting at first the square pegs in the round holes. I couldn't figure out that that's not the right way, but finally, I don't know, it worked.
There's a photo of you in the back. You're a pretty lady. I'm looking at the picture.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. So you've had your own obstacles to go through, and probably that's how you are able to create characters with obstacles, obviously going through them yourself. And the point Robin made that I wanted to kind of reemphasize is that when you go through obstacles and somebody else tells you you're never going to be able to walk, you're never going to be able to whatever, I mean, there are two types of people: the one who says, you don't know what you're talking about," or and defies that, or the one who says, "Oh my gosh, I won't," and then just accepts that and never walks again. You have to, I think you have to be rebellious when somebody tells you something like that.
You do. I mean, that made me so mad, and I did. You know, one day, I was wearing a brace on my bad leg, and I got out of the wheelchair finally after months of physical therapy, got the brace. I was so disgusted that I went outside and told my mother I'm throwing the brace away in the garbage can. She goes, okay. She goes, I'll help you. And she goes, you'll never walk again. You know, she really pounded it into my brain.
Oh, wow.
So I realized that wasn't the right decision. Talking about decisions, that wasn't the right decision. So I sat down, contemplated it, then I went back outside and got the brace.
Oh, my.
You know,
oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. So,
but it does make you upset. It makes you mad.
So tell me about some of the things about yourself that are interesting. I mean, it says you're a singer. You've had celebrity encounters. What is that all about? I mean, can I get some songs of yours off of the internet?
No, because I wish you could, but I never was signed to a contract. We had lots of, actually, they were good songs. It's just that I never really got signed to the contract. We went up to New York several times. They wanted me to move there with a band, and of course we didn't have the money at that time to get an apartment in Manhattan and this and that, so we never did. But we just continued to write songs and record them and send them out, which usually doesn't do anything. So you have to build a following. But anyway, then I went to Pepperdine University, and I was in, because see, I was really doing right in the music business before I went to Pepperdine, and then afterwards I started it again, because I started writing songs when I was at Pepperdine in the music trailer, and I'd never written a song before, and so that's really where my songwriting began, and my writing period. I wrote the music, but I really liked compiling a story. And then I moved back to Memphis. I wanted to play music only and not do anything more in the theater. And that's when I started meeting all of the celebrity musicians that I met, and it was quite exciting. And
then you moved to St. Petersburg. And when did you move to St. Pete? 10 years ago?
That was actually 12. It was 2003.
Okay.
Because I got offered a job here teaching Spanish, and I moved. Said, I don't want to stay in Memphis for the rest of my life. I like it there, but I want to go someplace else. And I'm glad I made that decision.
Well, good luck with the book. You sent us a copy, or somebody did, of the book. It's called Treasure, and I would like to give it away. So if you would like Vanessa Leigh Hoffman's book, call me right now. I'll put your name on it. It'll be waiting for you here at the station. Big, thick, it's soft cover book.
Stories.
So how do we buy the book? Do you have a website?
I do. I'll spell out my name for you. It's www.Vanessa, Vanessa, Leigh, Leigh, Hoffman, HOFFMAN.com.
Okay.
And you can, there's an Amazon link there, and then there's also a link where you can buy hardcover books too.
Oh, okay.
So, and then there's the Kindle.
Well, if you're ever in our area, we would love to have you back on the air. We would have you in the studio. We could talk to you in here, and thank you for being on the air. I love the area that you live in. Did they tear down the pier, or is that still there?
No, they've just shut it. They've closed it. Nothing's going on with it. It's just shut down. But they have not torn it down. I guess they're trying to decide what to do, and it's a shame.
I used to love going there. What are they going to put in its place?
They're going to supposedly update it. I guess it's a money issue. I'm not sure. Nobody's talking about it anymore, so let's hope.
All right. Well, good luck with everything. A portion of the proceeds from Treasure goes to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital up in Memphis, Tennessee. Vanessa Leigh Hoffman, you're a delight to have. Thank you for being on the air with us today.
I enjoyed it so much. Thank you for having me.
That was good. We'll put the interview online on WOCA's Facebook page and YouTube channel by 2 o'clock today, and you can share it with everybody who might be interested in the book and in Vanessa Leigh Hoffman's work. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. GOP presidential hopefuls Ben Carson because of threats, and Donald Trump